All right, Grizzlies rookie center Zach Edey may miss the start of next season. Nobody wants to hear that, but after undergoing ankle surgery earlier this week. Now, the team announced that Edey sprained his left ankle again during the offseason training and actually needed the procedure to repair and restabilize it. This is more of a common thing with big men than a lot of people realize. He'll be reevaluated in 4 months. That's just ahead of the season opener, which is on October the 21st. Edey missed 12 games early last season with a similar injury, but did bounce back, played in 66 games, started 55 of those. He averaged just over 9 points and led all rookies with a little over 8 rebounds, earning all rookie first team honors. So the question becomes, what do the Grizzlies do in his absence?
Find somebody, right?
You got some time left?
Yeah, I haven't gotten the call from Zach Kleiman yet. But I think they have to find somebody. Now, if you go look at the free agent market,
it's thin.
It's really thin. I mean, you're looking at guys like Thomas Bryant, who's playing with the Pacers right now. Steven Adams is out there. Maybe a reunion is in the books.
I think but you have to find for the next Aquaman series.
But you have to find somebody who can bridge that gap to start the year that you don't ultimately think is going to be the starter when Edey comes back. But it just stinks, man. I mean, the amount of issues this team has had with injuries, especially in the offseason, with young players going from year one to year two. I mean, you go back to last year, it was Jaren Jackson and Vince Williams Jr. as well, and those guys missed the summer and the first part of their season, and they were never the same. Jaren Jackson ends up in the G League. Vince Williams Jr. ends up out of the rotation. That transition from rookie year to your sophomore year to that second year is so important because year one, you're just sort of throwing things at the wall, seeing what sticks.
Yeah.
You grab some data, you figure out what you do well, what you don't, and you work on the things that you don't in that summer. And Zach Edey's not going to have that.
But this could be a part of a bigger conversation for the NBA. Those rookies have no rest. They go from the NCAA tournament to the combines
to summer
league to rookie camp to training season to season. And then so, of course, by the time they're middle of the season of their NBA rookie year, of course, their bodies are worn down.
And that's why we always talk about the 40-game wall as well. That rookie wall is very, very prevalent for a lot of rookies that come into the NBA as well. So I agree with you there, but that ain't changing anytime soon, I can tell you. But as for what the Grizzlies do, you got to find somebody because also your backup five and Brandon Clark's coming off a big knee injury. Yeah. And I don't know if you're going to be able to sort of rely on him to start the season. And he's already shorter. He's a smaller guy who's more of a reserve big, small ball five. So I think they need to go find a cheap option and wait till Zach Edey comes back.
I don't think there's a Costco place for that.
They don't have a wholesaler.
Yeah, you can't get that at the market. I do ask the question, though, is that a time then when the Thunder should think about doing what the Warriors did for a while, and that was go small ball, effective guards, when they didn't have an effective, when Draymond Green was playing the five.
Right, now the Grizzlies, the problem with them playing small ball is what do you have to have? You have to have a lot of off-ball movement, a lot of off-ball screening, which is not a big thing for the new coach, Tomas Isolo, although we'll see what he implements. And I think you have to shoot well. They're not necessarily a team that you trust to shoot above 35% any given game. They fluctuate a lot. So they can do it. Maybe you see a leap from Jalen Wells. Maybe you see some leaps, with shooting from John Morant, from Jaren Jackson Jr. But that's the only thing I'd say back to you is they have to shoot the ball better to play small consistent.
So then I would come back to you because this is what I like to do. Let's go back.
Yeah.
What I would say to you is it's probably easier to find a good shooter than it is to find a good big man to fill that hole. So can I go find somebody who can shoot 45, bring them in so we can incorporate some small ball, rather than go get somebody who's got one leg left as a big man who can't make it 25 games.
And we need not forget, you're looking for a center to sort of bridge the gap, but your big need is a wing who can shoot and play defense. So that need, to your point, is still very much out there, and they need to try to address it.
It's a lot easier to find a guy who can shoot it in the league than it is to find a big man who can hold it down in the paint. There's a lot of big bodies out there, like you said, when you look at the free agent
list. But are they any good?
Yes.
Right.
I mean, woo. So, all right, we've talked about Edey and what that means and what the Grizzlies could potentially do. But now we got to talk a little bit about the salary cap and the outlook. I mean, we got to look at it courtesy of the Bleacher Report and Basketball Reference. And it's not about chasing free agents this year. The big play here, using that cap space to renegotiate, maybe lock up Jaren Jackson Jr. for a long-term deal, that could be there, but there's a twist. Can they keep that flexibility and hang on to some restricted free agents? There are some restricted free agents they maybe need to be hanging on to. That might mean moving on from other people. We're talking about, you just mentioned Brandon Clark. What does that mean when you're starting to talk about the cap and what they can do?
So Jaren Jackson Jr. missed all NBA, so he's not getting that 5-year, $340 million deal. So it looks like we're probably going to have to wait till next offseason, in all likelihood, for Jaren Jackson Jr. to be extended. Now, some people will think that's concerning. I don't think it is. Jaren has not given any reason or any indication he wants to be out of the city of Memphis. So I would expect him to be able to sign next offseason, but I think he wants to wait to see if he makes All-NBA and all that. Yeah. So I expect that to get done, maybe not this offseason. Santi Aldama is a different beast altogether. He's a restricted free agent. So what that means is there's going to be offer sheets in front of him.
Already.
And other teams are going to offer him, and if the Grizzlies want to keep him, they have to match. So we're going to have to wait and see what that offer sheet looks like before we start sort of thinking if Santi's going to be on this team next year. You want him. He's a great offensive piece. He's your most consistent bench player. But at the same time, will they be priced out of Santi Aldama if a Wizards comes calling and say, here's 4 years, $80 million for this guy? Do you really want to pay that for Santi Aldama if you're the Grizzlies?
Can you afford to pay that?
Right.
You know, and what people I think sometimes lose on this is the salary cap, becomes an issue, but the market becomes an issue too. And I mean, Memphis is still considered a small market NBA team. So you're right. If the big market teams come calling and they've got more money, more cap space to throw around, what do you do?
They're more likely, I think, with the big market, small market, they're more likely to go into the luxury tax and be willing to foot a high tax bill. Whereas in Memphis, they're going to have to. They've got to get in the tax because of who they have on their roster. But how deep into that tax do they want to go? That's the real question.
And that's a question that neither of us have the answer for.
I don't, and I don't think anybody. Robert Perry really isn't in town all that often.
I think that is for the accountants. All right. So let's talk about this one. Ever since the Kevin Durant Golden State rumors fizzled at the trade deadline, 5 teams have consistently popped up as potential landing spots for KD. We're talking about the Rockets, Spurs, Wolves, Heat, and the Knicks. Every report has pointed back at those same 5. But plot twist here. The Grizzlies, remember, made a run at KD at the deadline. He did say no initially, but could they circle back and try to get KD? And if so, can they afford to get KD at this point in time in his career?
I'm all for it. I will say, at the trade deadline, I'm really good friends with Kevin Durant's good buddy at Boardroom. His name is Eddie Gonzalez, and I've had him on the show a few times. He said they made a very substantial offer at the trade deadline, but the Suns were not ready to move off. Now they don't have much leverage, the Suns. He's 36 going on 37. He's got 1 year left on his deal, so you don't know what the future holds if you take him in. I don't know if the price is going to be that high. So if the Grizzlies want to package together what they packaged at the trade deadline, offer that to the Suns, and the Suns say, yes, I am all for Kevin Durant being a Grizzly, but I still get the sense that it would probably take one of the big 3 in that trade. The Suns don't want to just bottom out. Their new owner, Matt Ishbia, loves that organization. He wants them to at least be competitive in the West. They're going to ask for a Desmond Bain, a Jaren Jackson Jr. in that trade, and do you want to
I don't think you can do that.
Risk a good thing to go get a 37-year-old Kevin Durant?
I mean, he's too man, this sounds so bad, but he's so far down his career. How many good years does he have left becomes the real question. There's a lot of miles on those tires, as we say in sports, and you're giving up. You would have to give up if you have to give up a young up-and-coming star. Man, that's tough. I will say the bonus if you bring a KD in is your ticket sales do go up.
For sure.
You're charging a lot more for them tickets than you were before.
And I think we're at an inflection point with the Grizzlies franchise and Zach Kleiman and the sort of come up with this big 3. You got to do something exciting. I think people are tired of the same old, same old.
Yes.
I will say that much.
And the other thing that Kevin Durant could add to your mix is we've talked earlier about how they need a shooter. Kevin Durant has size and he can shoot that ball. And so that becomes could be that missing piece that we've been talking about already.
And he can create.
All right, we got a couple minutes left, but we got to talk about this. So we'll be talking about the fact that the Memphis head coach has now been interviewing potentially somebody that is kind of interesting. We're talking about, according to Mark Stein, the Grizzlies recently interviewed former Bucks head coach Adrian Griffin. Yes, this guy right here. He was let go mid-season by the Bucks, but he was at 30-13.
Yes.
Apparently, the firing was reportedly because of communication issues with the players, but he does have a long resume. He's been an assistant. He's known to develop really quickly. About a minute left. What do you think about this potential move for the Grizzlies?
NBA coaching vet, 30-13 as a head coach. I would love him as a lead assistant for Tomas Isalo. He brings you the NBA sort of experience that Isalo doesn't have.
Yes.
He's a guy who can relate to his players, although with the Bucks it didn't go all that well. Maybe it could go better.
That could be on Dame, though, if we're being honest.
Yeah, but he's been an assistant for years and years and years. He knows the ins and outs of how the league operates. He knows how to maximize stars. I would love to see that.
The best thing about that, and I always relate it to college coaching, if you get a young head coach at the college level, what's the first thing they tell you got to do? Hire a veteran assistant.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the very first thing they tell you in college. Go hire a veteran assistant, somebody who can help you learn the ropes. I think that would be huge for the Grizzlies to do the same thing. Bring somebody in with a lot of experience who doesn't necessarily want your job. They just want to be a part of something new, something that's growing.
Agreed. No doubt about it.